We have Arvind Subramanian, Senior Fellow at the Peterson Institute. He joins us from Washington, D.C. Arvind, good to have you with us. Obama starting his India trip, and it's his longest foreign trip of his presidency so far. So what does that signify about the U.S.-India relationship?
Well, what it signifies is that, Susan, that the U.S.-India relationship is a very important one for both countries, and they want to keep it at that high symbolic level, especially because, there's a lot of competition for that status with China rising. And so the Indians are very keen to make sure that, this relationship is elevated to a status like that China has with the United States.
Yeah, what about China? Is this a move maybe for Obama to again try to interrupt China's prominence in terms of strength and growth in the international region by turning to the other emerging superpower?
Well, I think, it's not a kind of one against the other kind of situation. It's just that I think both the U.S. and India have a long-term common interest in terms of how to deal with a rising China. I think that's always going to be a common interest. And that was the reason why the previous administration, the Bush administration, actually signed this landmark nuclear agreement with India. So this administration is, cannot offer anything as big as the previous administration did, but is nevertheless trying to see how it can keep this relationship going, keep it warm, keep the embers kind of kindled, and keep this relationship in good track.
Now, Arvind, you said that the U.S. and Obama will jointly or multilaterally join with India to exert pressure on China on its currency. But what about the rupee? Hasn't India been trying to keep a lid on its acceleration this year? Is Obama going to talk to India about letting its currency trade freely?
Well, you see, I think not just India, but a number of emerging market countries, Brazil, Korea, are suffering from the same problem of, on the one hand, China is not letting its currency appreciate. On the other hand, the US, is doing QE2, which is just pumping dollars into the system. So the effect of that is a lot of dollars are flowing into other emerging market countries and putting pressure on their currencies. Now, the Indians, like the South Koreans, like the Brazilians, don't want their currency to appreciate too much. They don't want so much capital coming in. But they're in a fix because unless China lets its currency go up, they don't want to let their own currencies go up. So they have a common interest with the United States in trying to persuade China to let its currency appreciate. So I think President Obama and the Indians will be talking about this.
Okay, Arvind, one more question for you. We have President Obama coming off George Bush's administration, George W. Bush's administration, where he helped push through the civil nuclear deal with India. Do you think Obama might be able to top that? Are we going to see maybe a free trade deal signed during his time in office?
I think that's going to be very unlikely, Susan, because I think the mood here is just not ready for any big free trade agreements. It's true that with the new Republican Congress, it's going to be a little bit better for free trade than under the previous Congress. But I think anything as ambitious as a free trade agreement with a country like India is a little while away. Having said that, of course, I think they could certainly announce that this is an objective that they will pursue over the next, in the years to come.
Yeah, okay, Arvind, one more question for you. Why did President Obama choose Diwali to visit India? That's interesting timing.
I think that's part of the symbolism to say that, this is India's most important festival, and the president wants to be part of that. And of course, he's also going to be visiting some very important places which were associated with Mahatma Gandhi, because President Obama has said famously that if there's one person he'd like to have dinner with, it would be Mahatma Gandhi. So this trip is heavy on symbolism, the Diwali, the Mahatma Gandhi visit, and so on. So that's trying partly to make up for the fact that on substance, it might be a little bit thin.
Okay, that's interesting, Arvind. Thank you for those insights. Arvind Subramanian of the Peterson Institute.